Good evening and welcome to Greenslate I Incorporated, and I'm Jan Kowalski McDonald, your host. Let me tell you a little bit about Greenslate I Incorporated. Greenslate is founded by Mr. Sistrunk, and they've got any number of programs that are all directed at assisting ex-convicts. They have programs including reentry programs, feeding the families of Inglewood. They've got a Kirby's Kids Camp, and last but not least, my favorite is through the Circuit Court of Cook County. If you need to fulfill any community service hours, please contact my sponsor, Greenslate I Incorporated. They are an approved provider for community service through the Circuit Court of Cook County. And let me give you the information if you wanted to contact Greenslate. Here they are. Greenslate can be reached at 217-600-1846. Their email is Greenslate Institute for Justice, that's the number 4, and that's at gmail.com. And you can contact them at their website is greenslateinstituteforjustice.weebly.com. So please contact Greenslate if you need to fulfill any community service hours. Now let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Jan Kowalski McDonald, and here you go. There's a picture of my little logo, and of course, to help you with the McDonald part, Jan Kowalski McDonald, there's the golden arches. Now, to further help with my name, I've got a picture of a lump of coal there, followed by a beautiful looking brick wall, and last but not least, some skis. So if you put the coal, wall, and the skis together, you get Kowalski. And to help you, I've got my little koala bear there for Kowalski, and he's giving you the thumbs up. Yeah, that's the thumb. That's not the middle finger. He's giving you the thumbs up. And some people might be tempted to call me Kawasaki, which is really, really close, but no, it's Kowalski. And there, I'm 100% qualified. And there's my little koala there giving you that qualified. And tonight I wanted to talk to you about something that honestly I had little to no knowledge of, and I was quite ignorant of, I got to tell you the truth. I wanted to talk to you about sanctuary cities. Now, I always thought that sanctuary referred to the Statue of Liberty, give me your hungry, give me your downtrodden. And I thought the United States of America, we welcome people from all countries. After all, we're the great melting pot. So I thought that a sanctuary city just referred to the fact that the United States gives sanctuary, or in other words, a safe place for people from all nations. But I was a little ignorant on that, I got to tell you. It was only recently that I found out that sanctuary cities does not refer to the United States as taking in people from all countries. Matter of fact, sanctuary cities refers to something quite different, and I had no idea that I was so ignorant. So I'm here to tell you, I was ignorant, but let me just tell you what I learned. Sanctuary cities is a designation that the City of Chicago mayor, our current mayor, Rahm Emanuel, decided to give the City of Chicago sanctuary city status. Now, what does this mean? If you're a person who's in the United States illegally, in other words, not by virtue of a current green card or a visitor visa, and you're not here legally, what happens is if you are in the usual set of circumstances, if you are stopped by a police officer, suppose you're driving and you fail to signal, the police officer will run your name and might disclose that there's an outstanding warrant for you. At that time, they'll take you into custody. And this is what triggers this whole sanctuary city thing is. In the ordinary course of processing someone that's taken into custody, they take your fingerprints. And they do this for everybody, regardless of whether you're a citizen, non-citizen. They do it for everybody just by virtue of the fact that they're in custody. And once they take your fingerprints, they are not just processed by the local police department, but they're also sent to the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And the FBI also sends your fingerprints to ICE, which is the Immigration Center. Now, the Immigration Center can request that the city that's detaining the person put a hold on them for 48 hours. And that's what this detention hold means. And by virtue of the City of Chicago claiming a sanctuary city status, the City of Chicago has enacted a policy that says, you know, when ICE tells us to detain someone for 48 hours, we're not going to give it any attention to that. We're just going to do our normal booking procedure, whatever that might be. Now, let me tell you, I found out that the fact that Chicago is a sanctuary city, the fact that Rahm Emanuel decided to declare the city a sanctuary, it has cost us an awful lot of money. I was not aware of the financial ramifications of this. I always thought it was prospective or it might happen, but it's not really happening. But I found out that it really did happen. We're supposed to be getting federal funds from a number of sources, and these federal funds are supposed to benefit some really important programs. Let me tell you, the program said this federal money, it's $3 billion. And you're thinking, well, $3 billion, is that enough? Oh, I didn't say $1 million. $3 billion. So what is that, 3,000 millions? Is that 3 billion? I'm pretty sure. If I'm not, I'm hoping somebody can call me here on this. But that's an awful lot of billion. And because we're not receiving $3 billion from the federal government, this $3 billion would otherwise go to very important city programs. Let me tell you the programs. The CTA, yes, the Chicago Transit Authority receives federal funding. In addition to the Chicago Transit Authority, the Chicago Housing Authority also receives federal funds. And of course, it goes to the city of Chicago as well. For instance, for training police officers, that kind of things. It goes into the general revenue funds of the city. Now, as a result of having selected sanctuary city status, there might be one of these naturally occurring consequences might be that pretty soon we're going to be hearing that they're raising the fares for riding on the Chicago Transit Authority. That would be a naturally flowing consequence by virtue of the fact that the city of Chicago is not receiving $3 billion, which it otherwise would be entitled to receive. In addition, since the Chicago Housing Authority is not receiving its federal funds, people might be surprised to find out that their tenant portion of their Section 8 that they're required to pay, that might be going up as well. And I'm not sure a lot of people quite understand the fact that sanctuary city status has on us as taxpayers here. There's a reason why Cook County government wants to charge us this tax or that tax. Perhaps it's because we're not receiving the federal funds that we otherwise would be entitled to receive. Now, there's some people that say, oh, well, sanctuary status is good because we want to protect the people that are illegally here. There's other people that say, no, if you're here illegally, just follow the rules and, apply for citizenship or renew your visa. I guess the problem, which I found out that I wasn't aware of this, is that if you're here illegally, and because of this ICE detention, people here who are here illegally would otherwise be fearful of seeking police assistance. So for instance, let's suppose I'm an illegal immigrant here in the country and I have my cell phone stolen. I would normally report this to, or even a victim of a violent crime. I would normally report this to the Chicago police or wherever jurisdiction that this crime occurred in. But if I'm an illegal and I'm afraid I'm going to be deported or detained by ICE, I might not report this crime. And the concern is that by, caller, hi, do you have a comment or question?
Yes, this is Ray.
Hi, Ray, how are you tonight?
You know what? I agree with you 100%, except I'm Mexican-American, and you know that. But I'm against sanctuary cities. Sanctuary means safe zone.
Oh, safe zone. All right, that's a good way to put that, Ray. I agree with that.
Okay, but how about us regular U.S. citizens? North, south, east, or west of Chicago, we don't have a safe zone.
That's true, we don't. We need a safe zone, the citizens here.
Yeah. So, how, in all the programs, all the money that we need for our programs is going to be stopped because of a sanctuary city.
You're right, Ray. I didn't even mention, but it's not just the CTA and the CHA. It's CPS. The Chicago Public Schools also receive federal funding. So by virtue of this safe zone, it's going to affect the funding that would otherwise go to the Chicago Public Schools. What do you think about that one, Ray?
I agree with helping people. But when they're here and they get better services than the citizens of this great city of ours, that I can go to Vietnam and fight when so I fought for citizens. I didn't
Well,
fight for other.
Ray, let me ask you, what do you think we should do to encourage people to apply for citizenship or be here legally? What do you think we can do to make sure all people that want to be here are here legally?
Listen, my grandmother and grandfather are from Mexico.
Oh, no kidding.
When they came here, they did it right.
That's right. You have to do it right. There's laws for a reason. They protect everybody.
It took 7 or 8 years, but then they became citizens. Why can't these people do it? They broke the law coming here, and yet they want to go in front of everybody that's been waiting 5 or 6 years. That's wrong. That's not our
Well, how do you think that we should ease these people into society? Because you know what I found out also, Ray, I did not know this. You know, there's a whole big thing about giving people here illegally their driver's licenses. But the other thing which nobody's talking about is a lot of people that are here illegally might be working regular jobs, whether
Sure.
it's, running a forklift or washing dishes.
Yeah, but not only that.
And they're withholding taxes. And because they don't have a social security number, well, they're not a United States citizen, they're not eligible to get those tax refunds.
Yeah,
so I
that's
suspect that the federal government
that's
is sitting on a lot of tax refund money by illegal people. So Ray, what do you think we can do to encourage these people to legally apply to become here legally? They don't have to be citizens, but at least they have to have their visas in order. What do you think we should do?
Sign up. They have to pay a fee, but if they want to become citizens, do it the right way, and then maybe I'll agree with that.
Well, Ray, I don't know what it takes to be a citizen. Last I knew that you had to be here for 10 years. Do you think that's still the law? I'm not sure.
That I'm not sure of either. But listen, all the people that were my grandfather and grandmother's age, they did it the right way.
You have to do it the right way.
Why can't everybody else do it the right way? And they say doctor kids. Them kids are 20, 30 years old, have gotten free education to the university where their citizens had to pay.
That's right. You're entitled to a free education regardless of whether you're here legally or not, because we don't want to create a subclass of citizens. So, Rick, what do you think we should do? You think we can maybe shorten the citizenship period to 5 years?
Sure. You know what? Anything possible, because I want them to become citizens. But until they become citizens, they'll be taking away money that belongs to the city.
To very important programs like the public schools, our transportation system.
That's why I'm talking about we can't get any money, because they're getting it. Free education, welfare, Section 8, all the stuff that our citizens should be getting, and we can't get it.
Oh, thank you. Ray, I think we've got another caller. Do I have another caller? Hello?
Yes, and
hi, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, sweetheart. Listen,
what do you think of sanctuary cities?
First, I want to tell you, I commend you admitting to something that you did not know. You inquired and you found out. And let's go a little farther than that. You know why the money was upheld for such sanctuary cities, and that was our President of the United States. He upheld all cities that is protecting illegal aliens or illegal immigrants or whatever. And I just want to say one thing to to Ray. Ray, do you remember the Alamo? Do you remember Texas fighting? They didn't want Mexicans over here in the United States. They were fighting about a state where originally was Mexicans. That was Mexico, part of Mexico.
It really was part of Mexico. You're absolutely right.
If you really want to look at it.
Absolutely right.
But listen, how can you fit out of your mouth that you fought in the Vietnam War for other people, but you don't want to help other people that don't help themselves? Hispanic woman that's here illegally could be raped,
right,
tortured,
and
scared to call the police to report it because she knows she will be detained and a great possibility shipped back to Mexico.
Can I put the foot on the other, can I put the shoe on the other foot to see how it fits? Hang on a second.
Sure.
Let's suppose you're driving your car along and, no, let's suppose even better. You're walking down the street and a drunk immigrant who doesn't have a driver's license, doesn't have insurance, who stole the car, hits you with the car and you're hospitalized. How do you
Okay.
feel about that now?
I mean, listen, I will feel bad.
I know, that's what I'm
because of
saying.
the
You want
accident. But
illegal people to be
hold it.
legally here.
How about let's keep that same scenario?
Okay.
He's a bona fide CEO of a company, and he also hit you and killed your family member. How would you feel about that? It's no difference.
Absolutely not.
No difference.
It's true.
You lost a life.
I would
So
be
that
vengeful either way.
scenario
You know what? You're absolutely right. I guess that was
that
a bad
you
scenario.
brought, and I was ready to.
Oh, I think we have another caller. Do we have another caller,
No.
Stephen?
You know,
Hello, caller?
Well, hello, my
Hi, Miss
little
Paula.
sweetheart.
We're talking about sanctuary cities.
That's it.
Wait, let me
Oh,
give my commercial here. You're watching Greenslate I Incorporated live on cantv.org/hotline. And tonight we're discussing sanctuary cities. And I have a question here by Paula. Paula, you have a
Yes.
question or comment?
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, yes. The sanctuary city here. People been helping. It's been called welfare for years. Sanctuary cities is coming from all over the United States. Sooner or later, they're going to figure it out. There's going to be a little for you and a little for me. But as far as the Hispanics that have been working in our jobs...
Wait, hold on, Paula, hold on. It's not just Hispanics. I have to tell you this, and you probably know, a large portion of Eastern Europeans, including Polish people, are here illegally as well. And they might have
Absolutely.
emigrated through Canada as well. So I don't want to suggest that this is just one nationality only.
No,
The
it's
immigrants
not.
that were here illegally are not just Hispanic in origin. There also could be
Oh.
Eastern European, and don't forget Indian and Asian. I mean, we're literally the melting pot for all over the world. So I just wanted to jump in there for that one. But
No
go ahead, Paul. I
problem.
didn't want to stop you.
No problem. Don't forget now, I'm Italian.
There you go.
And we came over here on a boat.
So did my
Took us
family,
almost
Paula.
30 oh, yeah, way back in the
We
day.
came through Galveston. I did not know. Everybody talks about New York, but my family came through Galveston.
That's exactly where we went, was straight to New York, and every year we had to do our passport, till we were illegal citizens.
That's right.
We couldn't speak a word of English. Nobody could talk to us. They used to call us all kinds of names,
Yeah.
but sooner or later, we all figured it out. The government figured it out. Back then, the government was different.
Yeah.
Right now, we got a heavy-duty, out-of-bozo circus government right now. It's unbelievable.
Be nice,
if
Paula.
we get any help, if we get any help from where we should all be, everybody wants to be safe.
Well,
Everybody
let me
wants
ask
to
you,
eat.
let's suppose you were elected president. How would you change immigration?
Well, for immigration, the people that are here, which have been here and are going to continue to be here, as long as you can make them, like you said, starting with the driver's license, starts with the people that hire them. I have been a waitress all my life, Jan.
I didn't know that.
All my life.
It's a hard job. I got to tell you, I couldn't do that, Paul.
I love it, but all my life, for 40 years, I've been a waitress, and when I began 40 years ago, we used to have Chuck, Paul, Brian, Susie, all regular kind of people cooking. After about 20 years, all of a sudden, they were all gone. Everybody was hiring, Hispanics, because they work cheaper, but the only problem is when they get a paycheck, they don't spend it here. They send it back to mama in Mexico to eat.
Well, either that or Poland. I can
What are
say
you
that.
going to do?
Oh, shoot,
What are you
Paula,
gonna
we've got
do?
another caller, so hang on there. Do you have
Hey.
another caller? Hello, caller, do you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I have a comment. First of all, you did a great job of explaining why sanctuary cities is wrong when you mentioned about what happens in an auto accident when somebody hits you and they don't have a license, they don't have insurance. That happens thousands of times every year. And if people
Well, we do have uninsured motorists, but you know what? That just makes my insurance rates go up. So I'm paying for that.
Exactly. It makes everybody who does things the right way pay more and more. It is so absolutely wrong. We have politicians here that have absolutely no backbone. They cave in on all these issues, and you made a great point. It doesn't matter that they're from Mexico. A lot of nice people are from Mexico. What matters is they didn't do things the right way. They didn't enter legally, and they want to whine and complain. Everybody has had challenges in their life,
Yes.
and you have to rise up and answer those challenges. And when you've done something wrong, you don't compound it by copping an attitude, almost having riots in the street. It makes a mockery out of our society. And I wish the Mayor Emanuels of the world and all the other cowardly mayors would get in their right mind, because they live in a world that the rest of us don't. They've had things they've had things too soft in life.
And the other thing is, I think we need mercy.
Ray made an excellent
I see a
point.
lot of times, especially me as an attorney, I see judges every day, and they are so hard-nosed. They're so willing to punish, but they're so infrequently give mercy anymore. So let me ask you,
Sure.
How would you reform the immigration system that we have now, where a lot of people are not bothering to register? I'm not saying that you have to be a United States citizen, but you do legally have to be here through applying for a visa. So let me ask you, how would you fix the system?
I would just insist that all employers use that E-Verify system, where there's some vetting involved in that, and then the people who manage to find other ways of work, a lot of them steal Social Security numbers. We don't
Right,
hear
or give
about
bogus ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So again, let's stop treating them, let's stop coddling them, because it is criminal activity. And I'm not saying you have to punish harshly,
No, not
but
punish.
you've got to start doing things the right way. And inside of 7 or 8 years' time, the whole paradigm would shift on that, because again, a lot of people who took the time to do things correctly, and you're giving somebody an advantage. It's like somebody going ahead of you online, sneaking ahead, and it's a mockery. So again, sanctuary cities is wrong. I think Ray made some great points, because he's of an age group like I am, where you better have done things right. You couldn't have gotten to this point. And like I say, they've gotten away with so much already.
They're cutting corners, right?
Exactly. I'm tired of feeling sorry for people. Nobody felt sorry for me, and that's what makes you into a man or a woman. You rise to the occasion, and shame on these aldermen and all these cowardly dogs, the coward that we have for a mayor, because that's exactly
Hold on a second. I don't want to call any names. Do you think 10 years is too long to become a United States citizen?
No, of course not.
Do you think that's fine, or should we shorten it?
No, it should be 10 years, because that's a period of time where you prove yourself.
To be loyal to the United States? Is that the idea behind that?
Yes, that you're loyal to the United States, and you're not a basic troublemaker, taking things to the streets. In the 60s, that might have been trendy or something. Now, for most people, it's just a royal pain in the butt.
Well, how do you feel about people that are citizens that don't speak English? For me, that's always a personal pet peeve when I go to the driver's facility and they're handing out the test in Spanish. Now, I speak Spanish, so I'm okay with it. But at the same time, our signs aren't written, in Spanish, and you know what I mean?
English is a very easy language to pick up.
I heard it was terrible. I heard the exact opposite. Is it really?
Well, I've seen people that are in their 50s come here and manage to pick it up.
True. I've seen that too.
Yeah, and in the Asian nations, like in China and Japan, they teach English. A lot of them don't even know Chinese or Japanese. So why would we want to waste so much money in even printing things up in so many different languages? Start to learn the language, and there's plenty of people who know the language and just pretend they don't know it.
Well, there's a lot of free ESL classes, which is English as a second language, ESL.
Sure, if somebody hits your car and they'll understand. They won't understand you if you say, "Hey, you just did $2,000 worth of damage to my car." But if they drop $20 and said, "Oh, you just dropped $20," all of a sudden they understand.
They understand English very well.
Yeah. Anyhow,
thank you for calling in. I appreciate your point of view. Thank you.
Take a hard line on it. God bless you.
Thank you for watching and participating in today's show.
You're welcome.
And I'm Jan Kowalski McDonald with Greenslate I, and tonight we were talking about sanctuary cities and what that means to us in dollars and cents wise and what we can do to change it. And thank you for joining us. And of course, tonight my technician was Stephen, and this was my last show. So thank you all for calling, joining in on the conversation, and have a good night.